Hey everyone, Koyo here. So today we're going to be looking at Ryuhi in SD Hiryu no Ken Densetsu, and just kind of discuss, what's different or what's new. And well, there's only not too much new, but we're gonna take a look at him as a character overall. Back on my old channel, which was used to be known as Viz Shogun Gamer when I first started SD Hiryu no Ken. And then it was Captain Sheepy, and then it was Casual Combos. That is what it currently is, and I haven't since uploaded there because I think I'm done there. You know, it kind of became fighting game focused, and I was just like, no, I can't do fighting games no more. So, all right, now I don't know if on my original video that I uploaded to my channel I discussed, what needs to be known, but just to do a quick overview. The stats that you see on this screen, the fire, wind, thunder and ice elements that you see there, each represent certain stats of that character. So fire represents physical stats, which are punching and kicking. Wind represents throwing, your damage for it. Thunder represents projectile offense and defense. So how much damage you deal with a projectile and how much you take. This also affects even supers. So Weiler's super, where he throws a bomb, is his only projectile, and it will affect the damage that does. And then finally, ice is physical defense against both fire and wind element. So throwing and punches and kicks. So now with that over, what I'm going to be using to look at Ryuhi is the speed glove with no additional stats or anything. And also the tree metal, which gives us the highest amount of juggle potential that we can muster out. Essentially, the speed glove, similar to the previous Hiryu no Ken, the previous Flying Dragon 64 game, lets you cancel your normal moves into specials. Think Street Fighter in pretty much any fighting game. Well, that's, not Tekken, I guess, unless you're playing as Akuma. Wow, yeah, things have changed. So, just fighting game stuff. And then finally this gives us basically 5 launchers from the ground and 4 when you're juggling your opponent. And that also does include any hits you also do, though, will move this counter downwards. So that means if I do 5 launchers in a row, you'll see the launch effect. But if I do a launcher and then I do a few punches, and then I try to do a launcher after the 4th juggled punch, the 5th, whatever I do afterwards will not launch the opponent any longer. I'll show that in demonstration. In fact, I'll show it right now. That way we know what the rules are. So 1 launch, 2 launch, 3 launch, 4 launch, 5 launch, and then whatever I do after that will be just like what you saw there. You see? He just blobbed over, right? So essentially, and then if I were to go punch, whoops, or actually, you know what? No, let's do this. Punch, kick. Oh, you know what? Okay, I know the perfect thing to. So this has a certain amount of kicks in it. Yeah. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, but I can't land that. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How would I land another? I guess. Oh, I know just the thing. So instead of finishing off that combo, because that has 4 hits in it, which would take away all my launchers. You see, it didn't relaunch him. That's how you demonstrate that. All right, sorry for the wait. So. Ryuhi is your all-around Shoto character, and he also has a lot of potential in terms of combos, and a lot of good mix-up potential too. He is, oh my gosh, yeah, he's got mix-ups, he's got the Shoto stuff, he's got some long combos. He almost has it all. The only thing he doesn't have is extra throws or combos that go into throws, which, characters that have those are Weiler, Yuka, Powers, maybe 1 or 2 others I'm not thinking of. Oh, Shoryu. try to use another. So, what Ryuhi does have, though, still in terms of throws, though, is his counter throws. Oh, whoops, I went a little too far there. These he has retained from Flying Dragon 64. And this actually helps him still be an all-around, all-around character. Although he's actually missing a counter throw. He actually had 3 counter throws in the original game. But now he only has 2. Or maybe I'm thinking of the virtual mode in Flying Dragon. Regardless, that's what he has going for him. Oops. So we'll actually go through all of his moves. And also let me drink some water. Oh, and before I go even further in, if you have questions about SD Hiryu no Ken Densetsu, I'll answer them. I'll even, what was it, like, if there was something I missed in previous screens, like maybe the character select screen, if I didn't discuss something there that might be like, hey, actually, who are those characters, or what is this, etc., I'll talk about them. I'll talk about maybe even a few changes, etc. I kind of have a little more information now that I've been playing the game again. But otherwise, let's get into this. So here he has his double punch, he has his triple kick, which is a off the ground launcher, or it leads to that. It leads to it's well, what I mean by off the ground launcher is most of the times you do anything off of that attack, it'll always, there's only enough time to combo the enemy when they're already flopping on the ground. And then he has his forward punch and his forward kick. His forward kick is a launcher. And of course, both of these work on crouched opponents. And, if you have the cancel glove, you can combo out of it. But other than that, yeah, there's not going to be much you can do beyond that, unless you go into a super. We'll talk about that later. Flying Dragon fans be like, yo, you just did neutral super. What's going on here? Why did he do that move? But we'll get into it. We'll get into it. Don't worry. Don't worry. So, what was it? Aside from that, oh yeah, I guess we'll get into his chains. So his chain combos are punch, punch, kick, kick, kick. That one just simply knocks the opponent down. It does okay damage. The thing is, it's all high attacks. So if the person just blocks or even crouch blocks, they'll block it all. Albeit taking chip damage, but they can even counter throw in the middle of that. So do watch out. On another note, you can at least turn that high kick at the end into a low kick. As such. So a little bit of mix-up, potential. But, I mean, if you know you're fighting Ryuhi, you know you can just crouch and block that. And no matter what kick he chooses, you'll still block it. In fact, let's see if... now, one thing I forgot to confirm. Aha. Okay. Oh, yeah. So if you just crouch, you'll even just completely miss it. If you choose not to block, you'll just completely, not have to worry about any chip damage either. So that's a way to survive that. Uh-oh. Wait, did I not? Where's neutral? Where are you hiding, neutral? I need to set him back to... There it is. Okay. So, other than that, those moves, though, he also has kick, low kick. Might be a little more reliable. At least, like, you could kind of mix up your opponent. You could go like, oh, am I going for highs? And then, nope, I'm going for a low, right? Raven. You could do that on the second kick. So it's like, oh, am I going all the way? Because, see, that's a mid attack. So you could either trick your opponent into guarding high, and then all of a sudden you'd be like, ha, nope. So there's a really good mix-up technique that you can use. But he has something that is far better. Well, I mean, that one's good. That one's good. But the problem with that one is that it could be counter-thrown. The initial second kick. So what to do about that, right? Well, that's when you pull out this move. So that's punch forward, punch, punch, or punch down, punch, punch. You can use either command. Typically, it will list the down version, though. I'll show you. You see, it lists down, but you can do punch forward, punch, punch if you so choose. So if we do that, we could either end with a high, or we can end with a low. But that's not the main point. The main point is the fact that these two punches here, after the jab, are both medium. So what does that mean then? Now, I'm going to talk about a little something. So, you see how, like, okay, you hit him and he goes, but he's back, he's back to, standing again, right? So, if we do this move, look at how long it takes him just to get back into position. So, anything you do after this is, you have, like, a whole second. Wait, is that really a whole second? 1, 2, oh my god. Yeah, you have almost a whole second to do whatever you want. So you get guaranteed attacks out of that, essentially, right? You don't get that with forward punch or forward kick. You also have that if you want to, but I mean, this though. That's what I'm talking about. You can do whatever you want. So that's the significance of that move. I mean, in fact, maybe it's better just not to end it, right? Because, I mean, well, the thing about ending it, though, is you still can get some combos off of it, as such. The low version, though, I'm not so sure about. Like, maybe little stuff. So the low version will just be, your way to just... it's because, maybe they decided to block high because maybe they were thinking you would attack high. So they crouched low, they, at first, and then they stood up, etc. There's a lot of different situations for that. Let's get them to block. So you have to block that standing, obviously. But that's why they gotta watch out for the low kick, even if you delay it. Well, not delay, but even if you, decide to switch out of it later, right? Okay. So, very useful mix-ups, just insanely useful mix-ups, right? That's Ryuhi. He's got a lot of options, and we haven't even got into his special moves. So, did I already mention he's a Shoto? I don't know if he's an all-around Shoto. So, he has his Hadouken, his little Shoryuken-like move, and he has, this is what I believe would be his Tatsu, in my opinion, if you think like Ryo Sakazaki from King of Fighters. Because it travels some distance, it's a kick, etc. Otherwise, I mean, you could say with Terry, it's his crack shoot and his burning knuckle, because there is like a heavy Tatsu and all that. With Ryu, when I say Tatsu, I'm talking about Ryu's little spinning kick. For those of you who don't know, his hurricane kick, as some people call it. But people have now accepted the Japanese term, and abbreviated it to Tatsu, which is short for Tatsumaki Senpukyak. I used to say that so much as a kid. I heard it as a kid, and I was like, oh my god, that sounds so cool, huh? Oh, man. I need some water. But you could say this is the Tatsu. Similar to Akuma from Street Fighter. And he's also in Tekken. You can use his light Tatsu in a similar way to juggle your opponents. So in this case, yeah, you can use it as a juggle and get some really powerful combos off of that. But there is a secondary thing for this. It's like, okay, well, if it is Tatsu-like, can it go over projectiles or something? It doesn't go over projectiles, but it can go over certain low attacks, and that is kind of the point of it, because this is a remnant from the original Hiryu no Ken. It's meant to actually fly over a low special. Whoops. Ah! Ah! Get that. Oh, shoot. That's weird. I got that to work before. Maybe it depends on who is attacking, and it's because I'm reacting, so... Up. Up. Aye. Weird. I got this on the last recording. That's funny. I'll try it one more time. Wow, okay, so you know what? This is really interesting, because the last time I tried this, it was always countering kind of like that. Perhaps it's because, you know, maybe there was a distance advantage that I had, and it wasn't actually a jumping over an attack advantage. And I doubt that's the case with this low kick. Yeah, So, false alarm. Like, you could... There's a case where you can use this to counter, and I did see... I think it's just very specific, so honestly, you know, I wouldn't rely on it too much for a counter attack then. Oh, man. But hey, you could use this to counter stuff. Okay, actually, yeah, so funny thing. So, as I mentioned, I didn't go into detail with this low kick, or this, and now we're going to talk about the sweep kick, right? The two sweeps. So this one's fast, and this one's slow. Why use the slow one? Well, the slow one is kind of to catch your opponent. It has a longer lasting hitbox, and watch me prove that right now. This I actually will prove, because I tested it. See? Oh, whoops, I was way too early. Ah! That is typically how that's supposed to be used. See, I'll try to wait till, like, really late to do this one. You see? For that one, it stays out just long enough to catch the opponent. And what I'm trying to demonstrate here is just how long the move lasts. Where with this one, you would have to do it right on the spot. If you did it any earlier, it would never hit. But if I did this just a little bit earlier, it can hit. Oops, I think that was on the hit. Like, basically, it lasts, like, what, a few more frames. Oh, yeah, that was actually a good example. So, essentially, it's there to catch your opponent, where, like, in this case, so it's like, okay, he's trying to poke you, right? You use this, and you move in at the same time. This moves you a little bit forward. So it's a good counterattack to high attacks, right? But when you use this one, you could use it just the same, and it stays out longer. But the better thing for it is the fact that maybe you tossed it out early, and you know, you might catch them on a certain hitbox, such as this one. This one moves forward a little, like that. Where you can get the same effect with this, but the timing might be a little more tough. That can happen. So that's why you use that. Because it will definitely guarantee that it, not 100%, but it will have a higher guarantee of landing. So don't ignore a slower kick. Don't do it. Trust me, it's useful. You will find a lot of use between mixing both of those up, or just using them at the right times. Now let's talk about his little back special, his Kyo Kusanagi double kick, his little double launching kick. This one is an easy launch technique, and yeah, you know, it seems super reliable. Like, oh my gosh, I can just kind of spam this, etc. Like, I can do this into itself. Why not just do that all day, right? Well, yeah, you could, but the problem with it is that it doesn't do as much damage in comparison to your other little launchers. Even that gets a teeny bit more damage if I'm... You know what? Let's just make sure about that. Okay, that does 5 damage. And that does 7 damage. There's the damage reduction. Okay, so 27. 24. So that's kind of the difference there. Because it is multi-hitting, and because damage reduction exists, it can lead to a lot of damage reduction in your combos. So for instance, if I were to just say do this and then go... Oops. Okay, I'll use a different move. Actually, no, I will use that move, but I will perform it a little differently. There we go, this should work. So there's that, but if I were to go for this... Oh wait, you know what? I still have to attack. That's another thing. Okay, so one thing I will answer a question to that will eventually be asked. No, it won't be asked, it will be noticed, and then you'll have questions. Essentially, back in the old Hiryu no Ken, I'm lying, no, I meant back in Flying Dragon 64, you were able to, say, combo from a special into a super. You can no longer do that. You can only do it from normal attacks now. There is no equipment that will restore that either, unfortunately. But back to this. 2, 3, and then, oops. So I have to now hit him with a normal attack before I combo into this. So that did, oh geez, I missed it. That did 47 damage. Now, that being a 13 combo though is a good thing. I'll just talk about combos really briefly. Combos are useful to you not because of the, I mean, obviously you get a lot of damage reduction, but how it's useful is it will actually let you gain more experience to your equipment when you go through the single player stuff. Anytime you get experience on your equipment, you always get 40, but going over, I think, 10 hits will make it so that you get a certain percentage bonus of experience. All right, but if we did what we did back there, boop. 52 damage. That's a big difference than 37. So, yeah. Watch how much you use this. You can still get a good amount of damage off of doing it like that, 49 damage, but yeah, just watch how much you use that move. So, finally, we have his last 3 specials. So, we have forward special, which is a 3-part attack. You could also do it as back forward kick, but you still gotta press, special twice afterwards. And this does amazing amount of, oh wait, we didn't talk about his upwards either, but we'll get to that soon. This is a really good combo ender. The damage is insane, and it can land from far away, and even the first 2 hits do pretty good damage, so landing that is nice. And even if you whiff it, I mean, as long as you whiff the 3rd hit, you're okay. The problem with whiffing, with hitting on the 3rd hit against a guarding opponent is now I'm a sitting duck. I can't do anything until, what you saw me there jumping. So that's like a whole entire second. So that's not good. So in other words, if you have the cancel glove, combo into it. If you don't, use it as a juggle. Do not use it any other way, or then you are just going to, like, if you try to surprise your opponent with it because it starts as a low kick, sure. That gets blocked. You're gonna need some milk. So regardless though, just overall good move, good combo finisher. His up special. You can combo that into itself. And it's it's stronger than the back special, but also it could work as a combo link into this, or into just whatever, depending on where you hit with it and how it's canceled into. How it's canceled into or how it's not canceled into. If you don't use it as a cancel, if you don't have the speed glove, you'll have to be a little more creative. So in this case, like that. Overall, a good move. Anti-air, it is what it is. And then finally we have his projectile. So you might already notice what's different than Flying Dragon here. You're not getting knocked down, and you're not getting engulfed by flames either. In Flying Dragon, anytime you shot a projectile with a good chunk of the characters, I think all of them actually, they would get knocked down. And, you spamming wasn't really gonna help because they could just wake up and block, right? Well, in this case, now you can spam projectiles a lot. Faster even, I think. And you can have 2 on screen all at once. Your timing's gotta be good though. And it's just, I don't know how else to put it. It is your Hadoken. It's just meant to be that. So, I mean, it technically got buffed. Now, yes, if the opponent is close, you're gonna be at a state where, okay, you're not getting an advantage. But of course, from afar, yeah, why not toss that? Why not annoy your opponent? And you could use it in combos too. In fact, just to demonstrate something, you could do that. That's just an example. You could actually do some more crazy stuff off of it. I don't always use it though, but it is there. and I almost forgot to talk about this. Okay, his last special. So, good little combo ender. Of course, the damage is decent, and you can off the ground it in some cases. Do that even. That's a good one. That's a really good one. I'm actually glad I actually got to show that off finally. But regardless, you could even surprise your opponent with this though. If they block it, you're gonna be in some trouble. Please block. At least it's not as bad as the other one, but you still can get grabbed on the way down. So that's usually what happens to me when the yeah, with the computer. So essentially though, just it's a way to push your opponent back in certain combos, and then just, you know, go for projectiles. Oh, and I should also mention jumping punch. So there's jumping kick and jumping punch, right? Jumping kick doesn't have much hit stun. There are maybe 1 or 2 characters that it does though, but jumping punch for most characters will cause an insane amount of hit stun, and you could even, I remember there's this guy who did combo videos back then. You could combo it into itself, like that, and get some pretty big combos. But otherwise, yeah, you could do jumping. It's like your jumping heavies from Street Fighter. You can do that here. Let's see. Finally, supers, right? So Ryuhi's supers. Now, if I didn't beat the game, the story mode, and unlock his true Hiryu no Ken, then what he will have is his fast Hiryu no Ken. By default, when you first play the game, he will have this. So essentially, he does not have the original Hiryu no Ken where he stays up there for a while, spins for a bit, and then comes down. He doesn't have that. Instead, he has the fast Hiryu no Ken because I guess they deemed the other one a little bit redundant, right? So in this case, you have a much better Ryuhi. But of course, once you beat the story mode, then you permanently have this one, which can be comboed into. Now, that's what happens if it, whiffs or drops in some way, but you can combo into it in a lot of cases. That's it missing some attacks, but you can get it out of a normal combo too. And it's very reliable. It has some good distance. It does not work at full distance though. At full distance, it'll just drop. Oh! That might have been because he was crouching. That was interesting. Usually that just... There we go. Okay, I was not far enough. And in some cases though, let's say... this is going to be a little bit hard, but... There we go. Oh, we actually got it. Okay, so in some cases though, it can drop. I don't know how much time I'll spend just to get that to happen. Oh my gosh, it's just working all of a sudden. So in some cases, he'll just do the spin, and that's it. Maybe this is enough. Well, okay, that time he went through with it, which is even worse. Sometimes he'll actually just drop it, and that's what you actually want to happen, if anything, because at least he didn't leave himself open. But yeah, sometimes it's not reliable, because that can even happen, right? So his second super, which you might recognize if you've played Flying Dragon, it's your second unlockable super. And here, all the supers are unlocked by default, for every other character at least. Oh my gosh, those inputs. You have his super fireball. And it works like a Kikosho, similar to Chun-Li from Street Fighter. And it's a reliable finisher for combos. I mean, you could even, what is it? If we do what we did back there, even if they're pushed very far away, a lot of the hits will land. And the damage is decent. Maybe sometimes not as high, but it is, pretty good. And what's also pretty nice about it is it hits 9 times. So if I do what I did here, and I wanted a really big experience boost, oops. Ah, there it is. But if I wanted a big experience... Oh yeah, his throw. Yeah, that's right, I forgot. He has a throw. I don't often use it. I mean, you use it when you have to, but Does it give you the most advantageous situation? I mean, if you're trying to go for 50-50, etc., sure. But aside from that, okay, so. 17 combo would get you a lot of bonus experience, so there is that. But Ryuhi also has a new super. Kind of like a Shoryu Reppa, similar to Ken. And what's good about this one is that you can use it in, a certain amount of combos. I would say it drops a little bit more than even his true Hiryu no Ken, unfortunately. So do be careful when using this, because it could end up leading to a wasted super, but in a good amount of cases it will land. Nah, actually, you know what? I take that back. So I'll just do that same combo I did before. It can also drop really easily. You might think, oh, it might OTG them. Not really. In this case, it'll hit because I was, really close. But if I dare push him back with, say, a kick, that can happen. So it is kind of short-ranged. So what to do in that case is, you got to keep the combos maybe a little bit shorter with this one. But what's good about it, though, and why, you might think, oh, well, why have that, though? Why have this? See, it hits 9 times. Or even 8 times if you somehow, sometimes it can miss a hit. It's a little bit jank. There we go. Sometimes you actually do want that other, condition, though. If we try to, let's see if we can get that one more time. Ah, damn it, nope, it wants to be that way. So if you do get the other, if you don't get the last hit, which knocks them far back, you can actually start doing combos off of it too. But aside from that, why have this super then when you could just use this to get, a lot of guaranteed hits for that experience gain? Well, don't forget, this is an RPG. And since, that ice defense or that electric, power, electric offense and defense exists, if that opponent has a lot of thunder, offense and defense, this isn't going to do as much damage. So, but if they don't have as much ice defense, then this will come in handy for, getting that combo. So essentially, we could go boop boop, and then we go over 10 hits, just like that, and we get our bonus experience. So that's most likely what you might be relying on to get your, because without this move, without those 2 moves, you would only be able to rely on this, and in some cases, this might not always be the best option. Wait, did he let? I mean, I know it's supposed to be unblockable, right? But oh, okay, it's completely unblockable. So, I think there was a way to dodge that though, because I've had the opponents dodge out of it. Whoops. I mean, obviously you want to combo into all of these, right? But no, I can't remember what was the condition. I guess it was right. I'm talking about combo stuff. Right. Yeah, this doesn't. This only. That's what I wanted to show. This only hits 6 times. So trying to get above that 10 hit mark and then not dropping the combo, it's possible. But the thing is, you have to get above 10 hits. It's not 10 hits, it's above. It starts counting at 11 and above. So you start going into risky territory by using that super. It's good for damage, good for in between. You usually gain a lot of meter, right? But obviously you want to finish off your opponent with this. If you want that extra experience. If. And yeah, okay, that's about it for Ryuhi though, right? Yeah. So, I guess one last thing we can discuss is just that Treasure Busters don't exactly do the best for him. I'll just go into... Unless they are the status buffing type. So just to quickly talk about that. Now, I don't have my cancel glove on, but That could be where this comes in handy. Because then it helps, like, you know, get a re-juggle and all that stuff. Oops. Oh yeah, you cannot combo into treasure busters. So make sure you get some nice height on your opponent before you use it. But it does lead in some good combos. But does he need it? No, not necessarily. If you saw what we were doing before, even on his own. What was it? Let's get his combo game on. Oops. Yeah, you could do little things like that, or even. Aye, I dropped it. You could do things like that without the use of the cancel glove, and you get really good damage on it, right? So does he need that treasure buster, like something that might help him launch the enemy again? It could be down to debate, but aye! Oh my gosh, let's do that same combo, but instead implement the wow. That's yeah, okay, that's exactly it. So I wanted to make sure about that, but essentially one issue for Ryuhi is it's hard to actually implement at least the uppercut. I don't know about the kick, but I think if he had the Ice Buster, it might be a completely different case. The Shiva one. Because then he'd freeze his opponent and he'd be able to get another combo off of it. But in terms of this Treasure Buster and relaunching the opponent, but what he would get a lot of benefit off of is just buffing his stats. That was the Ice buff, so that just basically makes us take far less damage. But if I were able to get the boost for Suzaku or the Phoenix, then I would be able to really increase his damage and just completely mess up the opponent. So yeah, that's what it comes down to, I feel, with Ryuhi. But I hope you guys enjoyed that video. We'll look at Hayato next, or you know, if you leave some comments down below, we'll look at whatever character is most popular. I'm sorry for the length of the video, of course, but I guess I just really wanted to go into depth with it and talk about all that potential, while also showing some pretty cool combos, optimal combos, etc. Now, I'm not going to be getting into any fighting games much, because, like I said, I'm done with fighting games. I don't know if I mentioned that. Maybe I'm thinking of the previous recording, but I can't do fighting games anymore. That's why I stopped casual combos, because that became very fighting game oriented, and there was a lot of factors that ruined it for me. You could take a guess as to what was a part of that. A part of it, not the entire piece of the pie, though. But I'll look at like more, you know, fighting games like this, where it actually plays around a little more, not competitive, etc. I just can't get into competitive anymore. I don't know. But Guides, I would look at that, maybe. But aside from that, yeah, just leave a comment down below if you have a certain character that you want to see first. And otherwise, I'll default to Hayato. And yeah, look forward to more. As you can tell, my voice is probably really tired. So otherwise, yeah, I'm gonna get some sleep, and I wish you guys a good day or good night wherever you are in the world. And yeah, that's all there is.